Our world is changing. Sea levels are rising, weather is becoming more extreme. Whilst humanity is able to adapt against these new threats for the time being, many creatures that cohabit this world with us are struggling to do the same. Welcome to Wiser. A report compiled in 2019 by 50 countries, 145 experts and 310 contributing authors assessed changes in nature over the past 5 decades, including information from 15,000 scientific and government sources, plus indigenous and local knowledge from around the world. The report shows the relationship between our economic development and the impact it has had on nature. The report found that around 1 million animal and plant species are now threatened with extinction, more than ever in human history. It also notes that since 1980, greenhouse gas emissions have doubled, raising average global temperatures by a minimum of at least 0.7 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look at 2 significant examples of animals that were declared extinct in the last decade. Firstly, the West African black rhino, which had a population of 1 million at the start of the 20th century. 98% of this species was butchered between 1960 and 1995 by poachers for their horns, which were sold as medicine in the Far East. The population decreased to less than a dozen of these creatures by 1997, and there has not been a sighting in 20 years. Secondly, the Yangtze River dolphin, last sighted in 1994, was driven to extinction in China by pollution, the construction of major dams on the river, and the expansion of river traffic, which essentially blinds their sonar systems, leaving them incapable of securing prey. Both of these beautiful creatures have been denied an existence by humanity. But let's not dwell on the past. Let's take a look at the many animals which could suffer the same fate in the next decade. Let's start with the vaquita, a species of porpoise native to the Gulf of California, similar in appearance to the dolphin. This species is on the brink of extinction. Recent estimates place the population of vaquitas somewhere between 10 and 20. That's it. The main cause for the decline of the vaquita is gill netting, essentially the barbed wire of fishing methods. A wall of netting hangs in the water, which has a mesh size which only allows the head of a fish through. When it tries to back out, the gills of the fish are caught in the net. Unless the decrease in vaquita population is stopped, these adorable marine mammals will likely become extinct before 2021. The South China tiger has been listed as critically endangered since 1996 and is quite possibly already extinct in the wild, with no wild individual having been recorded since the early 1970s. Survival for these majestic creatures is considered unlikely due to low prey density, widespread habitat loss, and other human pressures like the fur trade. The Amur leopard, native to southeastern Russia and northern China, is listed as critically endangered. With only an estimated 70 to 90 remaining in the wild, this is one of the rarest cats on Earth. In the 1980s and 70s, the leopard lost 80% of its territory to indiscriminate logging, forest fires, and land conversion. Furthermore, the beautiful spotted fur coat of the Amur leopard is a very valuable prize for poachers, being sold for a reported $500 to $1,000 each in the late 90s. The Cross River gorilla, native to Nigeria, has seen the greatest decline over any other species of great ape, losing 59% of its population between 1995 and 2010. The population continues to reduce at an alarming rate, with only an estimated 200 to 300 remaining. Like all of the other animals on this list, these gorillas face the threat of habitat loss, fragmented population, and illegal and unsustainable hunting, due to which these gorillas have acquired an intense fear of humans and human contact, so sightings are very rare. Across the North Atlantic Ocean in the United States, we find the critically endangered red wolf. Declared extinct in the wild in 1980, these wolves exist mostly in captivity with a population of more than 200 in breeding facilities throughout the US. After several decades of slowly releasing red wolves back into the wild, a new wild population of around 100 was achieved. Unfortunately, this was reduced back down to only around the 40 that remain today. The largest cause of this decline was by gunshot. Taking another look at rhinos, two of which unfortunately rank on the top 10 most critically endangered species list, the Sumatran rhino and the Javan rhino. As the smallest rhinos in the world, with long hair and two horns, the unique Sumatran rhino has faced a steady decline of around 50% of its population per decade since the 90s. With a population of around 80 remaining, this is again due to illegal habitat loss and poaching for their horns. The Javan rhino is the most threatened of any rhino species, with only 60 to 70 remaining, all of which live only in the Ujung Kulon National Park in Java. The last wild Javan rhino was killed in 2010. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Facing similar fates to these animals are all of the following species: the Galapagos penguin, the Hawaiian crow, the Guam kingfisher, Malayan, Indo-Chinese, Siberian and Sumatran tigers, the black-footed ferret, the North Atlantic right whale, the California condor, the Asiatic lion, the saola, the Tapanuli orangutan, mountain gorillas, various river dolphins, and the beloved giant panda. The list truly does go on. Don't forget that insect populations are plummeting too, and it is said to be threatening a catastrophic collapse of nature's ecosystems. More than 40% of all insect species are declining, and a whopping third are now classified as endangered. Insects have a rate of extinction 8 times faster than that of mammals, birds and reptiles. We are currently losing 2.5% of all insects by mass every year. This suggests that insects as a whole could vanish within a century without changes to our way of living. The most affected insects include bees, butterflies, moths, beetles, and dragonflies. Seeing a similar, possibly even more shocking trend is with plants. A 2019 survey found that the world's seed-bearing plants are disappearing at a rate 500 times higher than what would be expected from natural causes alone. Researchers also noted that these numbers are almost certainly an underestimate of the problem, and that the scale of destruction is massive. All life on Earth depends on plants, which provide the oxygen we breathe and the food that we eat. Plant extinctions will lead to a cascade of extinctions in other organisms that rely on them, including insects, animals, and ultimately us. You might wonder if we've already gone too far, that maybe the cascade has already begun. Let's take another look at that 2019 report. It states that current conservation and sustainability goals for 2030 will not be met at our current trajectory. The goal to eliminate negative trends and maintain a target level of biodiversity can only be achieved through transformative changes across economic, social, political, and technological factors. It is the responsibility of all of us to push for this transformative change. The way that humanity currently operates is simply not sufficient to repair the damage that we have done. Now only we can save these animals from extinction and support Earth's most fragile ecosystems. Thank you for watching this episode of Wiser. Please consider subscribing, liking the video, and giving your thoughts about this topic in the comments. I'd appreciate it if you shared this video with someone, as I think we could do with more light on the subject of, mass extinction. Also, if there's a topic you'd like to see me cover, drop that down below and I'll take a look at it. Thanks again. See you in the next video, coming very soon.